Welcome back to the LCS Countdown. We're closing in on Game 1 Champion Select, and as we do, let's take another look at that clump in third place, where every game moving forward could either spell success or failure come playoff time.
And Team Liquid is one of the first teams we'll get to see here today, and I gotta say they're one of the teams I'm kind of optimistic for. Okay. I think that they have been experimenting a lot on playstyles, and hopefully they start realizing what's working and what's not. Playing around some Impact was not looking too great. There's changes coming in the meta that I think should be good for them. Hopefully this is a patch that they can start improving. They do have a tough road ahead of them, though.
Exactly. 4 of these 6 teams are currently slotted for the playoffs, so they're going to have to perform to where their end season goals are in the remainder of the regular season to kind of prove that they have to be there. And a lot of this is kind of guesswork, and a lot of it is going to come down to best of ones as far as playoff seeding goes. I think they'll be a playoff team, and I do think that early laning should be a little bit more important, and that's where Team Liquid should theoretically excel. They have the best gold at 15 of all teams other than Echo Fox in the North American LCS. So I think they're set up pretty well, even if their schedule is pretty tough.
I was going to say, and it seems only fair to then talk about their opponents here in Game 1, also tied at 7-5, 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and this is a team who's got a tough schedule this week that gets a little easier next week and then still is slotted to play 4 of 6 playoff teams. So by no means an easy schedule from here on out. And when I look at the way 100 Thieves wins, it's often through the mid and late games or strictly through aphromoo landing a lot of hooks, which to me doesn't translate as well towards the later stages of this split if patch 8.4 and the way the game is being played sticks around for a little bit.
Yeah, that's where so much is up in the air. It feels like for a while we were trending towards, based off the first day of VU LCS and some of the Academy, that we're trending to this faster game time. And if your team excels in the late game, you might not have as much time to stall out and reach those moments as you initially thought you would have.
More priority on the early game. Before we look at Clutch Gaming, Solo had some thoughts on the desk's analysis of his play. Let's take a look.
I think Mark Z is doing me dirty. I don't know what Mark Z's problem is with not just me, I guess, but like Clutch as a whole. I think he underrates us a lot. I mean, I think the criticism is fair. Even within like the team, we understand that we really need to have like a statement win versus either like Echo Fox or C9 or even like TL. I think just beating some of the like bottom tier or even like middle of the pack teams is like not really good enough to get the attention of you being like potential finalist or semi-finalist. But I think after we have a good showing versus one of those teams, then I think we'll get a lot more attention and we'll get a lot more praise.
Is it about the tier list, Solo? Is that what it's about?
It might be.
Because there's another guy right here who has been saying very similar criticisms about the whole team.
I think Solo did hit the nail on the head, though. It's about getting a statement win. They have yet to beat Echo Fox, Team Liquid, 100 Thieves, or Cloud9. That's every single team that's above them in the standings they haven't beaten yet, and they have been reliably able to late-game defeat the teams that are worse than them, and they could still win both games this week with that style since they play Optic and FlyQuest, but because of who they've beaten and who they've lost to, I still have massive question marks about this team moving forward.
And like we said, it was kind of how they're doing it. You even heard Solo kind of saying he understands where it's coming from, that we haven't seen the big statement win. There's a lot of the Skarner play for Lyra and stuff like this. You look at their best victories, their TSM, and one of them was that crazy Apollo stealing everything in sight with Ezreal game. So it is a little hard to put your faith in these guys quite like you have for other people, especially when they don't have a track record prior to this season of being a playoff team, where you can say that with most of Team Liquid's players, and even 100 Thieves to an extent, are generally teams that have players who perform in playoffs.
Why you got to be a jerk about it, though?
I just... Why so mean, Mark?
Like, well,
I don't know.
I'm glad Solo brought
Does no one hear this guy talking?
It's something I've been meaning to bring up.
He just made the same points as me. Did no one hear that?
I got to do Solo.
I love Jad. Jad says hi to me in the hallways,
I mean, that's true. Jad is nicer than me.
Friendly.
All right, TSM, the last team, the playoff cutoff team, if you will. Let's talk about these guys.
And they had a really rough start to the season, which is why they have been kind of underperforming. They're the cutoff point. But I would say that they're a lot stronger than a lot of teams, even ahead of them potentially in the standings. They've started to figure things out last week. Sven had some great games, winning 2v2s on their own, something that was sorely lacking at the start of the season, where Sven and Xmithie looked totally out of sync with the rest of the team.
Yeah, and I don't expect this team to suddenly be consistent and win every game from here on out in the rest of the split, but I still look at the players on that team, I look at how good they can be in lane, and I look at their history of winning LCS splits, whether it's Ven and Xmithie in Europe or Bjergsen and Hansser in the North American LCS. These guys just consistently dominate.
Right.
So, yes, because they're a game behind Clutch in best of ones, they are currently in 6th. But I would take TSM over anyone else that was in this clump we just talked about, tied for 3rd in a best of 5. I would take TSM
so
over
come
them
playoff time, you've got more faith in TSM. We also have to remind ourselves they technically have an easier schedule than a lot of these other
Already
teams.
played Echo Fox. They get to play COG Golden Guardians and FlyQuest still. They're playing 3 playoff teams. A lot of these guys are playing 4 playoff teams from here on out. So I think things are looking up for TSM.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the teams below TSM? Is there any chance, any glimmer of hope for these squads to make that run towards the playoffs? And if so, who are we looking at?
It's a very faint light, that glimmer.
Okay.
For me, it'd probably be FlyQuest. They are a team that feels like they have...
Well, they play today, so that's a big one.
Yeah, so they're going to need to win today to have that hope at all, really. Right. And they have not had their whole roster the entire time. They're switching out supports. They're waiting on the visa for Fly. They finally have their play style together. And it feels like this patch comes at a bad time where it's like Flame was playing GP Gnar all the time, and they had Fly on roamers to influence side lanes, and Turtle can play aggressive. Right. And now there's a big question mark of how they adapt on 8.4, but just based off how they looked previously, I did think this team had a chance.
Pending adaptation. That's one of our 4-8 teams. What about the other one, Optic Gaming?
Yeah, Optic's the other team at 4-8. I think it's less likely, and that's just kind of based on the math, right? If FlyQuest beats TSM, not only do they move within 1 game, they'd also hold the head-to-head. Optic has already lost both games to TSM, so they would then be 3 games behind the next closest team with 6 to go. So they have to, what feels like, win out, as well as have one of those higher placed teams lose a lot of games. And based on the way we have seen Optic winning, where I already feel like they have been optimizing for game wins, playing specifically around their strengths, maybe not necessarily going for the same kind of long-term growth that a lot of other teams are doing when we see Team Liquid trying to draft around top when their strengths are in the bottom lane. So I think it is fairly unlikely to see Optic getting up
Improbable,
there.
not impossible. One match that made the playoff picture much more interesting was the TSM upset over Echo Fox, which is the subject of this week's mic check.
Have you reached Pathing Nirvana? After you dumpster Dordock, you're gonna say, yeah, I think I reached Pathing Nirvana today. Doom, doo, doo, doom.
He's pacing, so he's shaking.
He's nervous. So, jungle carry? Actually, yeah. Yeah. If none of the lanes can carry, then jungle has to carry.
I'm gonna stand still on stage so I don't look nervous at all.
Are you nervous, bro?
Perfectly still. No, I'm chill. I'm good.
I'm always nervous when I play versus what's called TSM, but that's just because I want to win more.
I'll just be in my jungle getting a level lead. And then later, level lead, I carry.
And jungler is 202. Guys, I'm up on level. Then see you in teamfights.
See you in teamfights.
Yeah. Alright guys, I have a lot of pressure, but I have no winning lanes, so see you in teamfights. Nice. He's dead.
Kha'Zix here, Kha'Zix here, Kha'Zix here.
He's dead. Nice. Oh yeah, baby.
Hell yeah.
Here.
Nice.
Nice.
Top. Boom. Okay, I have 2 wards left. We can maybe get Tribush together.
Wards here.
I can roam mid here. Yeah, let's look here.
Top fighting, top fighting. Kha'Zix here.
Come on.
Gario's time moving, Gario's time moving.
Come on, tipping.
I come to.
Let's go, go.
Okay. Sedge.
Slay 1 HP. No,
Close on the flash.
Okay, we win.
She's dead. Camille.
I got it.
Camille, no flash.
Oh shit.
You're fine, Hoodie.
Look for Nash.
We can stop Baron.
Okay.
I'm basing. No flash here. We can stop Baron for sure.
We should just go for a 50-50. That's our bad.
We have Brand. Yeah, we have Brand. Okay, care for Galio flash, okay? Care for Galio flash.
1.5?
TP here as well. Can we go on TP? On the side?
No.
Okay,
I don't think so.
Okay, 1.5, okay.
Kill Camille first. I'm on Camille.
I'm cutting back. I'm 1 HP. I got Ash.
I can double bomb.
Okay. Play slow. Oh, nice. Nice.
I got some.
No ceiling. Holy shit. I'm FLICKR.
You're FLICKR.
700 AP Galio. Daddy.
Pathing Nirvana.
I don't know if it was Pathing Nirvana this game, but we did win the game. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was bot lane Nirvana, I think.
Well, I'm talking about Pathing Nirvana there. I'm not quite sure what the opposite is. It's just like Pathing Darkness.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nickelback. Yeah.
It's not a band chance.
What did they ever do
State
to
of
you,
enlightenment in the mind.
All right, 3 minutes ahead of game 1. Let's get some predictions up on the screen. But first, let's hear from everyone's favorite analyst, Joel, the NALCS PA extraordinaire.
Fashion's very important to me, so I'm gonna pick 100 Thieves again. I'll go with TSM. I still don't really know why, but I'm gonna go with TSM. Darshan left me hanging last week, so I'm gonna go with C9 this time. Echo Fox, they got more handsome guys on that team, so I like that better. I'll go with Clutch. I saw they ate a really big breakfast this morning, so I know they'll be ready.
Talk about Solo will be happier with Joel's prediction.
Well, I was going to say, talk about me doing people dirty, just straight up calling one team better looking than the other team.
Eat a hearty breakfast, dude. You win games.
Let's take a look at how these match up against your guys' predictions.
Remarkably, Joel picked almost the same games as we did.
In typical boring fashion, both of my analysts agree down the board.
Yeah, all right, well, first off, today is just a day where there's clear favorites in every single way. It's mostly playoff teams playing non-playoff teams, or if it is playoff teams, it's like a very big difference between the two of them.
Right.
So this time around, I mean, Team Liquid 100 Thieves is really the only thing to discuss.
Yeah, as far as when you're going to really wonder who's going to win. However, I would not be surprised if we saw multiple upsets today because it's patch day, right? It's the first day after probably the biggest patch of the split. One team was in a different scrim block, didn't practice the things that were as good as what the other team practiced, and you're going to lose some games. We saw that over in the European LCS, and it's pretty common when you have a big patch like this.
The problem is you can't say who it's going to happen to. It's like, you know, flipping a coin at that point.
Okay, well, fine. We heard Prolly. We heard
like
Prolly's
the strength of the analysts, and so to speak. Strength of the analysts, strength of the coaches, but there is still going to be guesswork involved.
Very much so. Let's get some win conditions up on the board before we throw it over to the casters. 100 Thieves, what are we thinking?
So for 100 Thieves, you're 100 Thieves.
Yeah, so I got to do 100 Thieves. So when they beat COG last time, it was because Ryu got ahead and was able to apply split map pressure. And under the assumption that Baron is a more important objective this patch, which it is, even without banner, the Baron minions are more powerful, they take less damage, and they give you more AP. They're going to get the map pressure on TL if they can apply side lane pressure with Ryu. So I think it's really important they actually get him ahead in this instance.
What's the response from TL?
For me, it's to throw the bigger bot lane party. A lot of 100 Thieves victories come through their bot lane, where Aphro and Meteos combine to get Cody Sun ahead. Team Liquid also like playing through their bot lane, so I would love to see them be the more aggressive team. Play around their bot lane, stop ganking topside. That does not seem to translate to wins for them. So throw the bigger bot lane party, bring more people, make it better than whatever party they're trying to play on 100 Thieves side.
I love it. I can't wait to see what kind of parties are planned. Our two of our three 7-5 teams tied for third. Up first, let's toss it out to the Battle Arena to get into the games.
Thank you very much, Dash. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Battle Arena. My name, David Freak Turley, joined by someone who I know is heartbroken about Zoe nerfs. Quote me on it. Isaac,
actually feeling pretty good. Feeling good.
Yeah, says the man who made a new level 4 Smurf to be a Zoe one trick. It's going to be great. Welcome, of course, to Battle Arena. Players are ready to go. Champ selected in 18 seconds. And as the analyst has talked about, patch 8.4 means lots of changes to the game. The first 10 minutes is going to be all about the fact that Tracker's Knife is gone, meaning maybe we're going to get some more gank pressure coming through. 20 minutes onwards, of course, we've seen Baron be a lot stronger. Teams playing around it much more often than before.
Yeah, definitely the case. And I am really interested to see how much these junglers are going to be changing things around. Are we going to see different picks coming out from them? Or is it going to be just more about the opportunities to go for these ganks more frequently? Because that is certainly going to be there with just a lot less vision out on the map.
Absolutely the case here. Cassiopeia banned away on the blue side. I expected that Ryze would be 100% banned first round red side every single game. So far, 1-for-0. This is a good start for me. Premier analyst, knowing that Ryze got buffed in the patch. But of course, everyone kind of saw that coming. Yes, Archangels. Users got a lot better in this patch, so not surprised to see those champions go down. No Sejuani for Meteos or Xmithie either, I do suppose. A couple more bans through.
And Skarner has actually been getting a lot of bans in the patch. Is actually the most banned on 8.4 so far. There only has been the one major region that has played just yet, but it's the highest ban percentage by quite a bit. And you know, Skarner is going to get taken off the table. Camille is another one that is very high priority. We have seen a lot of other tier users kind of go up in priority here too, but not sure if it's enough to get them on the pick and ban list. You know, things like Anivia I think are much stronger. We saw that come out in the EU LCS and win. Even Zillion, which has come out here and there in the NALCS, I think is quite a bit better now with those changes to that immunization. So we're going to have to see where these guys really want to go, but Galio getting taken off the table makes quite some sense too, as not only a very strong mid laner, but one who can theoretically build banner if you're looking for that sort of strategy.
Of course, we've seen some tank mids come through. Golden Glue, Cloud9 Academy played that, for example. Got to win off that. Kha'Zix, the first pick through, so Team Liquid going to play an assassin jungle for themselves. To the point you made earlier, you talked about what kind of style teams are going for. I think it's very interesting. We heard Prolly talk about it before the show. Saying, you know, I'm not sure exactly what the best style is going to be. We're going to try to figure it out as quickly as we can. And I'm just sort of very curious what game plan these teams think is the best coming into this game, because there's not that much of footage to look through and prepare against.
Yeah, there definitely isn't. There's a lot of, you have to kind of trust your analysts for preparation. You have to trust what the players are telling you from their games in solo queue and what you figured out from your limited time in scrims. You know, at the beginning of the EU LCS games, we were seeing a lot of these teams did not really know about the interaction with a minion dematerializer, you know, working with that to kill off the banner minion that is buffed up by Baron. That is obviously a pretty nice adaptation that some teams have been doing more and more, and you saw towards the end of the week, teams were doing that almost every single game, saving dematerializer charges, waiting for that, and it becomes this kind of back and forth around how you shut down the banner plus Baron combo versus how you enable that and defend it, and it's kind of this little mini game that has come in the later stages.
Absolutely. So you're going to see Liquid going for a lot of early pressure. Xayah, Rakan, one of the very best duel lanes you can lock in the bot lane. That's going to be really strong, especially against a slightly weaker earlier laner like Tristana. The Kha'Zix also, of course, a highly aggressive jungler as well, as long as the lanes have gank assist. So Liquid looking like some pretty early power. The rest of their team fight will come through their solo lanes a bit later on in the draft. 100 Thieves looking like, honestly, completely standard picks. Jax is a very common jungler here as well, likely to be full tank. Alistar super frequent as well. So not a new look yet, really on both sides, but we'll see what comes through as the draft moves on.
You do have to say, though, if there is more of a focus on how important the early game is, if the game does kind of turn into who gets more of an advantage so that they can take Baron, so they can do this banner buff and do these sorts of things, you're really liking the TL draft, and especially with how good Doublelift and Olleh have been when they are at their best, that is a very dominant bottom lane. They have, in my opinion, the 2v2 matchup as well as jungle priority in the early stages. What could be interesting is if we see Meteos changing up the Jax build at all, now that it is not a Tracker's Knife world, if he is willing to go more quickly towards a Triforce, or if he's willing to do any more sort of kind of aggressive dueling style of build, that can change the dynamics of the game quite a bit.
Absolutely the case right here. Other thing that I wanted to point out is I've seen a couple of teams place high priority on Nunu jungle because, again, the theory is what if 20-minute wins are really important because of how much better a Baroned up cannon minion with Banner of Command can be, and that doesn't seem to be actually that prevalent, but it was a read that some teams had. Of course, both junglers grabbed already are Kha'Zix and Jax, but I wanted to bring that up as an option. Taliyah off the table. Both are going to be knocked one more mid laner down. Still curious to see exactly what these teams want to run. One final ban for Liquid in the second phase, then it'll be 100 Thieves pick for one of their two solo lanes. They'll kind of pick on one, they'll have to blind pick the other.
I do actually really like the Trundle ban if you're going to be trying to go for a tank top here for impact, which is most likely the case. Yeah. I think that Trundle is kind of being under-prioritized in this patch with so many people just blind picking tank tops and tank mid laners and these sorts of things. There's tanks in the jungle trying to get people who can build banner. Trundle has a very good matchup in the 1v1 against almost all tanks in the top lane. Deals physical damage. Pretty effective if you're actually forced into a grouping situation against these tanks. So I think it's something that we'll see a lot more of on this patch.